I hope it works. At least my camera's working. I tried. You're live. I am live on YouTube. This is amazing. Hello. Okay. So is there anybody on YouTube? I don't know. And I don't see anybody on this one either. That's okay. That's all right. We are going to chat. Oh, shoot. I forgot my notebook. Hold on one second. Just hold on one moment. Okay, I'm back. Did any of the dogs poke their faces up to say hello? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so I've got YouTube up here and I've got Facebook down here. We'll see how this all works. The YouTube, the lighting is actually a lot better for YouTube. I'm gonna have to remember to look up at the camera up there. So, okay, while people are joining, and we have somebody joined, I can't see who that was. I don't know why I can't see who joined. Can I see comments? Let me see if I can see comments here. No, I don't want to do a comment. Hi. I posted a comment. So hopefully I'll see comments when they come up. Okay, so I think I'm still live. I actually, guys, I'm live on YouTube finally, and I'm live on Facebook like I am a lot of times. So we had a couple folks ask questions ahead of time, and if you have any questions, go ahead and post them either in comments on the live YouTube or comments on the live Facebook. So wherever you want to post the comments. In fact, somebody posted a comment. I think there's somebody on the Facebook one. Post a comment just so I can see, like I'm here or hi or something, just so I can see if the comments are coming up. Because I'm not, yes. Okay, now we got it. Hi, Jonna. How are you? Actually, I worked with someone today, helped with someone today, whose name was Jonna too. So that's the second Jonna I've met in my entire life. So I need to remember that I've got two videos going at the same time, or two platforms, I should say. So if you have any questions, just ask them on either video. Okay, we've got that all out of the way. We're going to chat a couple things, gardening first, and we have a couple questions that people posted on Facebook and a couple messages that were sent my way on Instagram that I'm going to answer those questions. Hey, Wendy. And so we're live on YouTube up here as well. So that's why I'm looking up and down. But we're asking a couple questions. It's kind of an AMA, Ask Me Anything tonight. So just feel free to ask anything and put in your 2 cents worth with anything. If you're agreeing with something, disagreeing with something, if you have a better idea, or you just want to blurt out something in your mind, go for it. Totally up to you. One of the questions that was brought up was how to keep slugs off of garden plants. And I'm going to give you a couple different ideas from the airplane in Anchorage. From an airplane in Anchorage. That's incredible. You really should be enjoying the view, but I love you. Although it's dark, right? It's dark up there. And so you can't see anything anyway. So I'm glad you're with us tonight. Wow, Anchorage, from the plane in Anchorage. That's incredible. Although is it like a big commercial? I was picturing you in like a little puddle jumper where you should be, like your window is right there and you should be enjoying the view. But once again, it's dark and you're probably actually maybe not in a puddle jumper. Maybe you're in a big commercial airplane. And do they have Wi-Fi on there now? I guess I haven't flown in a little while. No bright light. No bright light. There you go. All right. So we're going to answer that question about slugs. How to keep slugs off of garden plants. So first of all, slugs. Oh, on the tarmac still. I got you. Slugs. Hey, let the person sitting next to you know that about the YouTube channel, Simple Hobby Homesteading. Tell them to jump on Facebook Live or jump on the YouTube Live. Just share the love a little bit. Anyways, slugs. I'm never going to get back to slugs. Slugs. How to keep slugs off your plants. Slugs love a lot of different plants. They really love low growing plants like lettuces and things with like smooth surfaces that they can climb on and get on really easily and eat away. They really do love lettuces. So some ideas to get rid of slugs. Oh, Jonna said good will do. Good, thank you. Some ideas to get rid of slugs or to deter slugs are, I got a couple written down. For us, we don't have a whole lot of slugs, and that's for a couple reasons. First of all, we do a lot of chicken tractors in the garden. I've got like a square or a rectangle fence thing that I can move really easily, and I'll put a couple chickens in that, and I'll put that on a space that I'm going to get ready to plant things on. And so then the chickens dig through all the dirt and everything, and they till it up and everything like that. And they eat all the slug eggs, and they eat all the slugs. And so we don't have a whole lot of problem with it, I think, because of that. Also, I put guineas in my garden. I don't let the chickens free range in my garden because they will eat the leaves of plants, and they'll eat the vegetables and the fruit And so they dig up the roots really bad. I mean, they're just diggers. Whereas guineas will like selectively pick off the bugs and the insects and things like that without hurting the leaves, without hurting the plants, without scratching around. And so I will let the guineas free range in the garden, but the chickens are in the rectangle cage thing, and I just move that around a lot, and so I get plenty to eat. And so that's one reason we don't have a whole lot of slugs, so that's an option for you. Another reason, and I don't know if this is a deterrent or not, but we use a lot of loose hay and like straw for the mulching. Hey, Gidget! For the mulching in between our plants and in between the rows. And I don't know if, I wouldn't think slugs had issues going over straw or anything like that, but we just don't have many slugs. But if you are dealing with slugs, if you do have slugs, one tried and true method is crushing up eggshells and sprinkling them around the base of your plants. That works for a lot of people. And if you have a nice garden, a lot of times you have chickens, and so you have eggs. But even if you don't have a nice garden, a lot of people eat eggs. And so just crushing up those shells and sprinkling them on the bottom of your plants, at the base of your plants. Snails, they're sharp, so they don't like to go, the shells are sharp. Snails aren't super sharp. They're not very witty, but I am tonight. That was not even a good joke. I am sorry. My boys are probably over there like, oh, Mom, seriously. Anyways, they don't like to go over the sharp edges of the eggshell. The snails don't. And so, and Gidget says hello. In case you're wondering, just join us. We have YouTube Live up here, and we have Facebook Live down here. So ask any questions. It's an AMA. Ask me anything tonight. We're talking about snails right now. And so another thing, like I said, our hay seems to deter them. You can sprinkle the eggshells. You can also put sand around the base of plants, around the perimeter of the garden if you want, or wood chips. Just don't let those wood chips get too close to the base of the plants. Or rocks, gravel, although sometimes that's a pain when you go to dig up and things like that. So those are some ideas to deter them. You can also hand pick them, you know, just go and checking your plants often and just hand pick them and either smushing them or throwing them over your shoulder or something. It's totally up to you if you're a snail saver or if you're just a snail, you know, terminator. It's up to you. I don't judge either way. Do you need to wash the shells first, Janet? No, totally don't need to wash the shells first. And a lot of people say that you need to dry them so that they crush easier. You can if you want. But I just, if I'm going to use eggshells for that reason, if I do have snail issues, I use the eggshell thing. And I just leave them on a paper plate overnight. And then by the morning, they're all dried. And then I just crumple them up with my hands and then just sprinkle them around the bases of the plants that I'm seeing have issues. A lot of times it's lettuces. So I'll sprinkle them around the perimeter of my little lettuce bed or whatever. But we don't have a lot of problem with snails. Okay. We've got other ways though. Hand pick them off. Another thing, and this is, I think, one thing that helps too. Snails are very busy at night. They like the coolness of the night, the wetness of the night, to move around. It makes it easier. They don't move well on dry surfaces, dry dirt, dry concrete, whatever. They like a little bit of moisture or a lot of moisture. It helps them move. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Samantha. Hey, Brooke. We've got YouTube up here and we've got Facebook down here. So that's why I might be looking up here sometimes. But anyway, so they don't like to move across dry dirt. So what I always do, and this is something I've always done anyways, is I water in the morning. I water my garden in the morning. And so it has all day, low battery. So, and I'm going to have to fix the low battery because I'm using this to power the data for the YouTube. So I'm going to have to plug that in. Do I have an outlet? Do we have an outlet over here, guys? I don't think we do. I'll plug it in a minute. I think that means I have 20% left. So what was I saying? They like to move around at night. And so I water in the morning because that gives the ground plenty of time to dry out. And so by the time night comes, the ground is nice and dry and the plants have already gotten their water. And so the snails definitely aren't moving much during the day on my dirt because it's really dry. It's dried out from that morning watering. And then at night, there's no extra added moisture from me watering later in the day or in the evening. If you water in the evening, you're just kind of giving those snails kind of a highway to come on into your plants because it's nice and wet. Even if you water in the afternoon and it's at all overcast, a lot of times that moisture will kind of stay on the top of the surface and you're giving those snails a highway. So water in the morning. So it's a really good practice to do anyways. Another people say a copper tape. So apparently, and I didn't know this, love your shirt. Thank you, Lion King. Are you coming? I'm getting ready to go to the live action. What do they call it? Live. What do they call that? What's the Lion King? It did it with Dumbo. What's it called? Jackson. The remastered Lion King thing. They did it with Dumbo. What's it called? Not digital. What's it called? Is that it? Live action? Is it out yet? The Lion King? He doesn't care. The Lion King. I want to go to the live action Lion King. Let me know if it's out yet, folks, and I will definitely get my tickets for that. Anyways, love my shirt too. What was I talking about? Copper tape. So apparently, when a snail goes over copper, it gives it like a little a little electrical shock. And so there's an adhesive copper tape you can get. And I guess if you outline your garden with that copper tape, then that'll keep the snails from coming in. And then you just be diligent about hand picking for a little bit. But if you can keep them from moving into your garden, you're doing pretty good. So I would think copper pipes would maybe do the same thing, because the snails aren't going to come up and over those copper pipes, but that would be expensive. And I imagine that copper tape is probably expensive too. So I don't know if anyone's used any kind of copper. They said you can use copper pennies, but I can just see those getting mixed in with the soil. I don't know if copper is going to be the best option, but it is an option. I saw that. Chicken tractor, that's one thing we use. We have that rectangle chicken cage that I made, and I just put 2 or 3 chickens in there and move it around on the beds that I'm going to get ready to plant in. So I like to do that because they dig up and eat all the snail eggs, and they eat all the snails and aphids. They get all the bugs out, which is really, really great. Guineas, I use guineas. Coffee grounds, they kind of like the eggshells. If you sprinkle coffee grounds around the base, that's going to deter snails, which is really great. Spraying the plants with 2 different things. You can spray the plants with cold coffee, and I guess that's to deter the snails from eating the plants. They get up there and they don't like that taste of coffee, or it's like acidic to them or something like that. I think it maybe even hurts their body or whatever. And so they won't go on the plant. And so that's wonderful. So another mixture you can do is garlic and water. Spray your plants with garlic and water. And of course, that's something you have to do continuously, like once every 3 or 4 days, or after a rain or whatever, because the rain's going to wash it all off. But yeah, so a mixture of garlic and water works like the cold coffee. So that's another thing. Now, here's another thing. And this is one thing we do also do. Hey, Kaylin, I love you. Kaylin's my cousin. I love her. Another thing we also do in our garden is we do what's called companion planting, where we plant plants that naturally deter pests with other plants. Like with my potatoes, I plant radishes around my potatoes, and I let them bolt, because there's something about the smell of a bolting radish. And by bolt, it just means that you let the radish overgrow. You don't pick it when it's ripe. You just let it overgrow, and it emits an odor that deters potato bugs. And so your potatoes are safer. Some good ones are lavender, sage, rosemary, parsley, and creeping thyme. They all deter snails. And then you plant around your garden if you want. Like if you want to do like a whole perimeter of parsley around your garden, that's going to really deter a lot of bugs from coming in. It's like kind of like a barrier a little bit. But if your garden area is too big to do that, then you can just intermingle these plants with your other plants. Like we do parsley and basil with our asparagus, because it deters the asparagus beetles. And the lavender, sage, rosemary, parsley, and creeping thyme all deter slugs. And so we just plant a lot of those things in and amongst other plants that have issues with slugs. Like I do put parsley with my lettuces, because they just grow well with lettuces, and that works out well for me. So another one, this is kind of a cool thing, and I didn't know about this. You're so good at this stuff, Jody. You are so sweet. No, I don't know. I've screwed up a lot. And so that's where I've probably gotten really good with a lot of things, because I've screwed up so much. And when you screw up over and over again, you get tired of screwing up. And so you find a good way to do it, and then you jump on it. So it's just from screwing up over and over again. So that's all it is. And God's grace. I mean, honestly, that's what it is. So every time you screw up, you do something wrong or something doesn't work out, just trust that it's a learning experience, and you're gonna get it. So I don't know. I just learn more from screwing up than I do from doing well. But okay, so this is one I found online. I was kind of looking some of this stuff up, because like I said, we don't have a huge problem with slugs, but I know a lot of people who do. Lemon peels, orange peels, grapefruit peels, and lime peels. So any kind of your citrus peels, put those out at night, upside down, and so that the shiny peel is up. Put it upside down. Oh wait, no, so the peel is down. Anyways, put it upside. Well, it said put it upside down. So if they're talking put it upside down, does that mean put the, yeah, that would, you put the shiny part down so that the flesh of the peel is up. That makes more sense, I think. Yeah, I think so. So put that upside down and put them in your garden at night when those snails are the most active. And they're attracted to those like crazy. So in the morning, you'll come and you should have a bunch of snails on those peels. So then you just pick them up and either put them on your driveway for the birds to eat or just crush them. I mean, or relocate them to either a neighbor that you don't like, or no, don't do that. Relocate them to your, I don't know, where would you relocate a snail? Why would you relocate a snail? Don't waste the gas money to relocate a snail unless you really feel, unless you're really like a crunchy mama that way, that you're just, or not really a crunchy mama. No, crunchy mamas would step on them, wouldn't they? I don't know. Relocate unless you're a PETA member, because snails have feelings too, maybe. I'm not sure. That's what I need. I need a shirt that says snails have feelings too, even though they don't. But you can relocate them or you can squish them. I squish them because they eat my food. I don't like that. Okay, so yeah, so that's the last thing that I found. And that one actually I'm going to try because I'm just curious to see how many attracts. Like maybe I do have snails in my garden and they're eating stuff and I just don't see it because we have so much growing. And so and that's another thing I kind of do. And I did this more when we didn't have fencing around the garden. I planted a ton of extra so that the rabbits and stuff could have some, and yet I could still have tons of food. So I just planted extra. And so I just always have planted a ton. And so maybe I'm doing that and they're eating it and I don't know. So yeah, so that's slugs. Okay. So if anybody has any more questions about slugs, just ask them or rewatch this video because I mentioned a lot. The next thing we're going to chat about is disbudding goats. And this has been a hot topic this week because we got 3 of our baby goats known as kids. Goat kids or baby goats are called kids. We got 3 of our goat kids disbudded this week. And disbudding is where on the top of their heads, they have what's called horn buds. And they're born with these horn buds, and that's what makes the horns grow. The horns grow out of these horn buds. And if you don't want the horns to grow, you need to do something called disbudding. Some people do it chemically. They say essential oils like oregano oil and some other things like that, either injected or I think they have to inject the oil, will chemically kill those buds. But I find that to be incredibly painful for the goat. And so I do something that's a little quicker and seems to be incredibly painful for a very short amount of time. And that's disbudding with a hot iron. And what it is it's just a round hot iron. And it's almost like a branding tool is what it reminds me of. So it gets heated up really hot. And then what the person does is they put that iron right on the buds. And you can tell where it is. You shave the hair off the goat on the top of their head. And a lot of times the horns are starting to grow just a tiny bit, so you know exactly where you need to do the burning. And so you make the burn there, and that kills the horn buds. And then you put what's called wound coat. It's like a purple spray. It's a disinfectant. It's an it's a antibacterial disinfectant. What do you call it? Where infection won't set in. And so you spray that. Hey, Becky, that's my aunt. So like all my family is on tonight. Kaylin's on. Becky, say hi to Kaylin. And so you spray that wound coat on, and so that prevents infection from getting in. And then the kid is, I'm not going to be sugarcoating it. The kid's screaming when this is happening because it hurts. Okay, I have 10% left. I really need to plug in my phone because my phone is not only doing the Facebook Live, but it's giving the data for the YouTube Live. So hold on 1 second, guys. What can I show you for a minute? You want to see some gourds? Here's some gourd seeds. Loofah gourd seeds. Well, I can't hold those up the whole time. Hold on. Maybe Axel will say hi. Axel, do you want to say hi to everybody? Axel, come here. Say hi to. Oh, there's Axel. Oh, can Facebook see Axel? You can barely see him. Yeah. Okay. Let me get a charger for my phone super quick. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I'm coming back. I promise. All right. This is a super. Yes, this is a super charge. Oh, I can charge it with the laptop. Yes. Oh, I got an idea because I can't charge it. I don't have an outlet handy, but it's USB. You can charge it with the laptop. Oh my goodness. I'm so smart sometimes. So this should keep it going. Hold on. There we go. Oh, yes. Yes. Let's see. But now we have the problem of we have a cord. Oh, there we go. You're just a little higher, guys. Uh-oh, why? No, do not do that. There we go. Okay, so, wow, disaster averted, guys. Okay, so disbudding. So that's how it's done. And that kid, it's all the time, Aaron. All the time what? I don't know. All the time. A disaster all the time. A disaster averted all the time. Yes. Aaron, I love you. Hi, how you doing? It was good to chat with you tonight. We didn't do lunch at all in like the last week or two. I miss you. We need to do lunch soon. I know I see you like every other day, but like it's just here and there. And I didn't see you Wednesday night because Mike brought the kids. Anyways, what was I talking about? Disbudding. Okay, yeah. So it's not a fun thing for them while it's being done, but afterwards they go smart all the time. No, you guys need to stop thinking that. Yes, we do. Yeah, next week, definitely next week. Anyways, yeah, it's super painful for a few seconds, and then it's over and it's done, and they go and they're nursing within seconds with their mom. And that's one thing I do is I always bring the mom when I take, because I take my goats to get disbudded. I don't do it myself because I worry that I would hesitate. And with that, you don't want to hesitate. You want to be very confident. And so we take our goats to Blue Heron Farm, and Curtis does a phenomenal job. We used to take them up to Helmstead. Hey, buddy, get out of there. Helmstead Minis goats up in Lagodi, and I love them. Kate and Ben, they're down in Florida now, and I miss them like crazy. But yeah, so we take them to get them done, and Curtis does a really good job. So anyways, I bring the moms with the babies every time I take babies to get disbudded. So that way I can introduce the baby right away back to the mom, because sometimes moms get a little freaked out with the smell of the hot iron, with the smell of the burn, with the smell of the wound coat. And so you introduce the baby to the mom kind of butt first, so the mom can sniff it and say, oh yeah, that's still my baby. And then you just kind of release the baby, and the baby runs and nurses almost immediately from that mom's udder. And they're hitting the udder with their head, so you know it can't hurt that bad. And these kids are back to playing within minutes. They're back to jumping around and all playing and doing great. And so I've got video footage. Check out the last couple of videos on my YouTube channel, and you'll see the kids running around and fine with the little purple spots, but they're absolutely fine. Hey, bud, can you stop lifting stuff up? Yeah, my golden retriever thinks he needs to pick everything up for me. Does it upset the mom when the baby is crying? Yes, of course it does. Aaron asked if it upset the mom when the baby's crying. Yeah, the mom is calling out to the baby. The baby's calling. Usually the baby's just screaming, period. And usually what's funny is they scream more when they get the hair shaved. And then it's kind of muffled when they're actually getting the disbudding done. There's not a whole lot of the baby screaming, but it's more they scream when they get there. It doesn't even hurt. It's like getting a haircut, and it doesn't even hurt. Goats just don't like to be constrained. They're just not a fan of it. And so, yeah, so the mom's calling out to the baby. And that's actually good, because that makes the mom even more when the baby comes, like, thank goodness you're back kind of thing. And those babies they're great. And so the next question is, people ask, they see our videos and they see, what does he have? Oh, buddy got something. They ask why they see some of our goats have horns and some don't. Why do we choose to disbud some and not disbud others? There's a couple reasons. First of all, we will always disbud if we can. The reason we do that, you would be on board with disbudding, even though it's not a fun process. You would be on board with it if you ever saw a goat either get strangled or get hung by getting its horns caught in, or if you see a horn accidentally go into somebody's eye because a goat happens to do their head like that, and you've got a little kid about that height and it goes in their eye, and accidents like that happen. You get a buck that rams you in the butt with its horns, it hurts. Or you get a goat that ruins, hey, buddy, out of here, honey. Buddy, ouse. Buddy, come here. Ouse. Hey, Guns, can you do me a favor and put Buddy out of the living room for me? He's just looking to pick up stuff for me. Thank you, babe. But get a goat that ruins a barn, because with horns, they tend to ram those horns into things. If they don't have the horns, their head hits things, and they don't go as hard usually. With those horns, it's kind of like, I don't know, they just kind of go a little crazy. Hey, Lisa. And so, yeah, so the reasons why you'll see some of our goats who have horns, number one, if they're rescues and they came with horns, they keep their horns. There is something called banding, where you can band off the horns, put like a tight rubber band and it just cuts off and cuts into the horn, and then eventually the horn falls off. The problem with that is, and you can also saw it off, but the horns, goat's horns, blood runs up through their horns to a certain point. And so it helps regulate heat and, you know, and staying cool. Like in the summer, their horns actually give off heat. There's blood flow up in those horns. So sawing them off, you're going to have blood loss. And sometimes it can be a lot of blood loss. And so we never do that. And banding, I've seen it work several times. And so that's an option, but I just don't want to mess with it. I just don't. And so if they come as rescues where they already have horns, they keep their horns. If a baby is born and it's struggling, because you have to do disbudding within the first week or two of life. Otherwise those horns get too big and you just can't do it. And so if a baby is struggling, either it's premature, has health issues, or for whatever reason, if a baby is struggling, we won't disbud. We will just let them keep their horns because we don't want to put them through the trauma of disbudding when they're already struggling. And they have to really be struggling for that to happen, either preemies or something like that. And with preemies, sometimes you can wait till they're quite strong, a little bit longer, the 3-4 week time frame, because those horns won't grow as fast. But usually we just let them keep their horns. So if they're a rescue, if they're struggling, if the mom is finicky, where she's struggling on whether or not she wants to be a good mom with them, then we actually, I think I'm gonna load this. Then we will not disbud the babies because we don't want to risk. Hold on, I'm gonna fix this. There we go. That's a little bit better. We don't. Let me fix this even more. Let's see. Hold on. I'm fixing the Facebook one so that it's easier to see. There we go. If the mom is finicky, then we will not disbud because we don't want to risk the mom rejecting the baby completely. And I've had that happen where the mom was kind of touching. It was a first-time mom, and she was kind of touch and go on how she was taking care of the baby. And I went ahead and I disbudded the baby, and the mom wanted nothing to do with it then. That was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. The mom was like, nope, not doing it. And so she rejected the baby. We had to bottle feed it. So if the mom is really finicky, then I won't disbud. I'll just go ahead and let them grow their horns. And let's see. Oh, and the last one. Okay, hold on. I had them written down here just to make sure. Oh, there's 2 more. If we have buyers for our baby goats, sometimes we sell some of our baby goats. And if the buyer, decides they don't want them disbudded, then we won't disbud them. They can have goats with horns. That's totally up to them. But then the baby has to be claimed at birth, and they have to be like, okay, I want that one. Don't disbud it. Okay, we're good. So then we won't disbud it. The last one is if I'm lazy. And this has happened a couple times where I keep saying, oh, I'll call tomorrow to get it done. I'll call tomorrow or whatever. And I just keep forgetting, or I don't do it, or I put it off or whatever. And then the horns just get too big. And so then we can't do it. And so that's happened a couple times where I've just gotten lazy and dropped the ball. And that's completely my fault. So yeah, so that's the ins and outs of disbudding. And that was a really good question. Kevin asked that question on Instagram today or yesterday. And that was a really, really good question, because in our videos, you'll see a lot of goats that have horns, and you'll see some goats that don't. Now, there are some goats that are born, hey, Kayla, there's some goats that are born that are called polled. And when they're born polled, and a lot of different animals can be born polled, and that means that they naturally, their genetics are such, they have a mutated gene where they won't grow horns. So those are called polled goats, and they will never grow horns. Now, some people love polled goats, and I do. I like a polled goat here and there because I don't have to worry about disbudding them. They never grow horns. It's wonderful. It's beautiful, whatever. But the issue you get with polled goats is when you breed a polled goat to another polled goat, you have a huge chance of getting a hermaphrodite baby, which means they have male and female genitalia. And of course, you can't continue breeding that goat, and it's got issues all on its own. And you kind of introduce, because you have the mutated genes with the polled goats, breeding goats that have mutated genes together, you're just asking for a mess in the gene pool. You're just asking for a mess. And so if you have polled goats, you have to be kind of more careful with the breeding. And so you have to make sure there's no genetic lineage with what you're breeding to that was polled, and so on and so forth. And so it can get a little dicey, but polled goats are great. I love them. We have 2 polled goats, but neither one of them are breeding stock. So for us, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, so that was a really great question, Kevin. Really, really great question. Real quick, before we get into the next thing, I want to show you guys some seeds I got today, and I'm so excited. And these two are from Seed Needs. That's the name of the company. And these are loofah gourd seeds. I'm going to show Facebook. I'm going to show YouTube. Loofah gourd streams. Or seeds, streams. Loofah gourds. Yeah. I was thinking gourd loofahs, no, loofah gourds. So a lot of people, the loofahs that you use like in the shower to scrub yourself and stuff like that, people think that those come from the sea. They think they're coral of some kind or a sea sponge or something. They're actually a gourd. And I'm going to show one pack. I got 2 packs. So I can show one pack here and one pack there. They're actually a gourd, a big, nice, long gourd. And they can get up to, what does it say? 24 to 30 inches. No, the plant. And can spread. I'm trying to look at how long the gourd gets. The gourd gets about that long. It gets over a foot long. So the gourd can be really long. Because I've grown them once before, but I had issues. I grew them on the ground, and they're like any kind of gourd where they vine out like crazy. And I grew them on the ground, and they rotted on the bottom. And so I had a lot of issues. And so I didn't get many good loofahs out of them. But yeah, once you dry them out, the gourd grows, and you dry them out, they become the loofahs. And so it's so cool. I can't wait because I use a lot of loofahs in my soap. Well, for special orders I do. I haven't done a whole lot of selling them because they go in special orders all the time. And so I need to start sourcing my own loofahs so I don't have to buy loofahs anymore. So I'm excited about these. And these are going in the ground in a couple days because they like heat. And so I need to wait until we don't have as many cool nights. The next set of seeds I got from Stony Soil Seed Company. And these are heirloom seeds, and I'm excited about these. The first time that we have grown these, they're called white skin yard long beans. And they're supposed to be really, really good climbing beans. And I'm excited about that because we did a new trellis, cattle panel trellis, a 16-foot cattle panel trellis, and we just bowed it. And so we're growing things up. And I did one, and I've got cucumbers going and beans going. And so these are the beans I'm going to do on half of that to come up over and cover that trellis. And then on the underside, we're growing kale. And so I'm so excited because I'm hoping that kale will stay in the shade just a little bit of those beans and cucumbers and stay with us a little bit longer in the summer. I'm really, really hoping. And I like this trellis, and it was so easy to do with the cattle panel that I'm going to do a couple more in the garden. It really saves space, and I'd like to do it with like the zucchini and the summer squash and the crooked neck squash, and so do a lot of my squashes that way. Have them growing up rather than along the ground. And so I'm really, really excited about that. And you can go back to one of my videos just recently, and I show you that trellis and how easy it was to do. But these white skin yard long beans are Asian. They're Asian heirloom seeds, and they're supposed to be really, really good in soups and stir fries. And stir fries is what I really want to use them for. So I want to start making more stir fries. It's a good way to get a lot of veggies in to a meal, put some chicken in. And so it's just a real light and easy meal. And I want to get all the veggies from the garden. The zucchini, the squash, the beans, the peas. I want to get them all from the garden. And so I can make a meal completely from the garden. That's what I'm looking forward to. And so, yes, let's see. So what else did I want to talk? Does anybody have any questions? Now that I've been chatting, I don't want to low network connection. I don't know what that means. I don't want to just blabber on all night. I want you guys to ask some questions too. But if you guys don't have any questions, then I've got one more topic I can chat about. Okay, I already answered Aaron's question about does it upset the mom? Okay, so ask any questions that you want about gardening or critters or whatever. The last thing I'm going to go over, and you can ask questions and I'll answer those, but the last thing that I had planned to go over were plants that deter pests. So we talked about what deters snails, but there's also in general plants that deter other kind of pests. Now, marigolds. That's what everyone goes to deter pests. The problem with marigolds is snails love marigolds. There's something about marigolds that snails just love. And so if you're trying to get rid of snails, don't plant a bunch of marigolds because they're gonna flock to your marigolds and then flock to whatever plants happen to be by there. I don't know. This hair is driving me nuts right there. That little one. Okay, there it's gone. But you can plant marigolds. to deter squash bugs. So always plant your marigolds with some squash. Always plant marigolds with tomatoes because they deter the tomato hornworm. And then marigolds also deter mosquitoes. And marigolds are one of the few plants that you really don't have to brush up against to release the scent. The scent is really always really there. And so it does deter mosquitoes, which is nice. But so you can plant some marigolds by your windows that you don't want mosquitoes getting in, or by your doorway. We just interdisperse, is that a word? We put marigolds pretty much all over in our garden, but we don't have a problem with snails. And so we love them. Another thing, always plant rosemary by your cabbage because it deters cabbage moths. Petunias, this is one that a lot of people didn't know. And petunias are so fun to grow because they give color to your garden, which is phenomenal. But petunias repel a ton of insects. They repel slugs. So that's another thing you can plant petunias. Slugs don't like the smell of petunias. They repel caterpillars, asparagus beetles, aphids, tomato hornworms, squash bugs, and leafhoppers. And so they deter a ton. A lot of people don't think about putting petunias in their garden. But oh, it's so fun. It's so fun with the color. I mean, how can you not love petunias? Chrysanthemums, they repel ants, Japanese beetles, and ticks. So chrysanthemums, if you can say the word, are wonderful. Chives. Chives are another really great one, and they repel Japanese beetles and the carrot rust flies. And so we always plant some chives with our carrots, which I'm excited about. So those are just some basic plants that deter pests. And if you guys know of any, let me know, because there's always a ton you could add to that list. But those are some basic flowers and herbs that that kind of get rid of pests. Radishes, I already said about the radishes and the potatoes, right? We grow radishes around potatoes and then let the radishes bolt, or just let them kind of go without picking them, and that deters a lot of the potato bugs. So yeah. All right. And I don't want this to be a super long video because we are uploading it on YouTube. And so I don't know how that's going to work on uploading, I don't know how much data that's going to use or whatever. So this is kind of an experimental tonight, which was fun. Should I try to say something on YouTube? I can't. I don't know why. I can't say anything. All right. Can I say something here? No, I don't know why I can't say anything. I don't know. And I might not be seeing, I don't know. I might not be seeing it says low network connection. So that might not be why I'm seeing your questions, if you're having any questions. Wait, someone type something so I can see if it comes up. So Aaron, type something if you're still on. I don't know. Because I'm not seeing, the last thing I saw was Kayla was watching and Lisa is watching. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Kayla. And Becky, Jody, Kaylin, Brooke, Samantha, Jessica, Linda, I didn't catch you. Gidget, I caught you. Wendy, Jonna, sweet. Okay, I have no idea. I bet you maybe I'm not seeing the questions. But I'll answer your questions in the comments. Or I'll do another video and answer all the questions I can't see tomorrow's video or something. So if you guys haven't seen it, stop back and look at my brother's happy birthday video from yesterday. That was a fun one, and you see a different side of me that you probably haven't seen before. I get a little emotional, so that was fun. But yeah, so let's see what else. I guess you guys have a great night. This was fun to try with YouTube live. This was cool. But I got to feed dogs and do the dishes and head to bed. So I'm so tired tonight. I'm so happy. So tired. It's going to be a good night to sleep. So.
Hey everybody, welcome to Simple Happy Homesteading. I am actually going to try to set up our
keep. Okay, so it did, but it stopped. Okay, we're going to end the stream. The YouTube one ended. So you guys have a great night. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Are you sure you want to end your stream? Yes. Because I think